Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion. This is TCTN, the crazy troll nation of YouTube. We're not starting with chapstick because we got stuff going on, but you will see multiple chapsticks through this video. The crazy troll nation is just enjoying your channel, enjoying the channels you watch, enjoying playing in your face paint. And the troll part is not caring too much about what the beauty community standards are. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to fall into believing you need to use a certain brand or a certain tool or a certain technique because some YouTuber said so. Do what you want to do and just rock it. Aside from all of that, and more important than all of that, is to love yourself for who you are and how you look without face paint on. Self-acceptance and self-love. Embrace your natural features. Enhance them if you want to, when you want to, but not because you feel like you have to. That's the concept of the crazy troll nation. Rocking what you want to when you feel like it, and not rocking anything and just rocking your natural looks when you want to. I do curse on my channel sometimes because I curse in real life sometimes. You see from the title what we're doing. This is all about Mothership 10, Moonlit Seduction, and I'll tell you a secret. During her year-end 40% off sale, I purchased another Mothership palette. I had no intentions. 40% off a Mothership palette? Yeah, I got another one. So that'll be another video like this one where I'll just bust out like 4 or 5 looks. So let's just jump in. So we're starting with Vanilla Latte Chapstick today. So what we have today is Blitz Venus on the lid, Rosewood Romantique on the outer corner and also lower lash line, Extreme Nocturne for the outer V, and Skin Show Glow on our tear duct area and under our brow bone. Let's jump in. I started Blitz Venus with a brush. I just wanted to see how it would lay. And I also wanted to see how much of a difference using a sponge tip applicator would make. And so I stopped at about this point, picked up the sponge tip applicator. This is chunky because as I'm tapping it off of here, like chunks are falling off. And then I put this on. So as you can see, sponge tip does make a huge difference. And I had minimal to no fallout using the sponge tip with this shade on this eye. Rosewood Romantique. And we're going to tap over into our transition area, tapping so we don't disturb the chunky monkey that Blitz Venus is. With shadow on the tip of the brush, we're going to tap this on our lower lash line. This is not a typical eyeliner brush, but it does work for this purpose. Extreme Nocturne. I'm going to take it very gently, just on the line where the lid shade and the transition shade meet. Skin Show Glow, which I realized was not really a color on me. Or for some reason on this side it is. I'm like, oh, you know why? This side has been searing. That's why it's showing up like that, because it's wet. And now that the brush is wet, it'll show up over here. Because it wasn't showing up as a shade, that's why I also took it for underneath my brow bone. But I'm going to take a dry brush and put it for brow bone highlight over here. Even though it's not a shade, it does show up shimmery. And so what I did after I placed it, I went back with the brush that I used for the transition shade and just swept it over just to tone it down. I intended to take Extreme Nocturne, the outer corner, outer V shade for my upper lash line, and then my brain farted and I used the Fenty Fly Liner. The shade is in Big Truffle, which is this color here, but on me it looks almost like a burgundy, so it really did not show up too much. Scott Barnes Pumped Up Mascara on top and bottom lashes. Wiping off some chapstick. We're going to take the Rock and Roll Beauty Jimi Hendrix liquid lipstick, and this shade is in Voodoo. This is the finished look for my first look with the Mothership number 10 Moonlit Seduction Palette, and we have used 4 of the shades. What do I think about it? I'll let you know at the end of this video. For look number 2, we use Astral Gold Lust on the lid, Bronze Devotion on the second half of the lid, Plum Cabernet for outer V and a little bit over into the crease, and then we did some brown liner and mascara. So we're just going to jump in. I'm gonna prime this eye and I will be right back. I waited to prime this eye because Astral Lunar Lust is a chunky monkey, and I did use it with a dry brush first, tapped it off, and chunks are flying all over the inside of this palette. And because for me the Fenty primer is a tacky primer, I wanted to see if a dry brush would lay it, and I did not have a lot of fallout, just a few flakes, and I did not layer. And so this is what I did with it, is what you see me, the tapping you hear is me tapping it off. This is chunky, and I do not like the chunky monkeys. And so this was all that I did with the brush, and even now I'm not seeing any fallout. Then I did go in with a sponge tip because I wanted to see if it would intensify the color, and it still is really chunky, and I'm still having to tap off because this is hella messy. And I did bring it up a little bit further. Hopefully I can get both lids to look the same. And so I think this is kind of all I did because I do not want to risk getting this in my eye. And even now I do not see any fallout. So there is a way to apply the celestial shades, the chunky monkey shades, without fallout. So now we're going to go into Bronze Devotion. I have thoughts already. I'm going to save it till the end of this video. I started from the outer corner first because I didn't want to disturb the chunks. And so this is what I did, and I just brought it over, and I also turned the brush because the shadow was on this side, and I did pull it out just a little bit. I did not do a lot of blending between these two shades because, as I said, it's a chunky monkey. And so I'm just going just to the edge kind of, and then just leaving it. And that's what we did with that. Put that brush down. Then we went into Plum Cabernet, and we started with an outer V, but it didn't seem to really want to layer too well over Bronze Devotion. And so I went back in a little bit heavier and with the tip of the brush and really just drew the line to get it to show up. And it still didn't show up much. On its own it shows up, but layering it kind of didn't want to. And then I just dragged it over a little bit, just to the point where, oh, my Papa John's is on the way. Not too much over where the chunky monkey is, because again, I didn't want to disturb it, and I didn't want to do too much. And this side is a little bit darker, or it might be my lighting, or I think this side is just more blended out. And so with the same brush, I'm just going to go in small circular motions just to blend it out a little bit. And this is going to kind of be the look. I do acknowledge, I'm going to tap in and put some right here. I do acknowledge with some of Pat's palettes, less is more. And y'all know I like to do 3, 4 shades on the lid, and with her palettes that's not always a good idea. And so that's kind of my struggle, because yes, I like the looks. I do like this one. I like the other one I did so far, but to me it's boring. But sometimes there's a time and a place for boring, you know what I mean? So I'm using the tip of the brush and just bringing it lightly over, just so it looks like it's blending without me blending it too far over. And yeah, this to me is like super boring. And so what I did then, I took a brown, both of these are NYX retractable eyeliners. I took a brown here, and then I took, what shade is this? This is gold, and I put that here. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come right back. I took this smudger brush, and I smudged this out. So I'm going to finish this, and then we'll come back. I am seeing a few flecks. And so this is the brush that I used to set my under eye. And so I just swept it away, and it did sweep away because it was only just a few. And I see a fleck like way down here because it is just a few. And so this is how I did that. I do have one a full face already. And then I took MAC's Fluid Line and Dip Down is a Brown. And I put this on my upper lash line, did a little wing, gonna do that and then be back actually. And then I'm gonna do mascara, Scott Barnes Pumped Up Mascara, top and bottom lashes, and then I'll really be back and we'll do a look. We already did the look, we're gonna do a lip. When I did the wing, I started from that NYX retractable eyeliner in brown. And so I just brung that up, straight up, and then I just brung it over. Mascara, then we'll be back. I need some color, we're gonna do color. MAC Cosmetics, this is from the Keith Haring collection, and this shade is in Red Herring. And we're gonna put this on. I need something. Ooh, this is loud. I did not wipe off chapstick because this is a matte lipstick and it's a dry matte. And I didn't want my lips to feel dry. I'm gonna edit the rest of this out. This is the lip, and I need a liner with it, I think. And so I'm going to take, this is Juvia's Place lip liner, and this is called Brownie. So I'm going to put this on and be back again. Unlike a non-troll person, I just would have did everything and then came back at the end and told you what it was, but I didn't want to forget anything. So this is the finished look for look number 2, and this is what we have. And I do like the look. I will give my final thoughts at the end of the video. Stay tuned, you will see me in a couple seconds. Random chapstick today, Holiday Cocoa. Smells so good. It smells so good. We're gonna do one look on each eye today. For this look, we're gonna use these 3 shades and this one. 2 are gonna go on one lid, 2 on the other lid. I will call out the names. Actually, let me tell you what the names are right now if I can get myself together. This is Rosewood Romantique, Platinum Dusk, VR Sextasy, and Plum Cabaret. Cabaret? There's no N in that word. Cabaret. Base face is on, brows are done, lids, I'm priming my lids, duh. I have NYX retractable eyeliner in deep purple on my lower lash line. So I do have brushes out. We're gonna go into VR Sextasy. And if this doesn't pick up, I do have a sponge tip right here next to me. This is that shimmery purplish whatever. We're gonna see what shade it is. And yeah, I'm gonna need a sponge tip for this. Ooh, do you see all the chunks? Do you see that? Oh, so I'm like tapping. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this one is a chunky monkey. Very pretty color. Let me put that down, go in with the sponge tip. Oh my gosh. And so I'm patting the chunks, and look at this. You see that chunk just hanging off? This is why, and then when I keep tapping it, the whole thing comes off. This is why I need to be in the mood for Pat McGrath's Celestial shades. And when I'm pressing in it, it is very soft, and so you see dips in the shadow from where I'm pressing the sponge tip in it. And I kind of have to leave the chunk on the sponge tip so then I can smear it on my lid, because otherwise, if I tap it all off, it's not going to be anything on the sponge tip applicator. But this is why I say I need to be in the mood, and that's patchy right here because the chunk didn't go even. Let me see if I could smooth out the chunk. And so even though I've learned to work with them using sponge tips, because I refuse to use my fingers, I refuse to have to wet my brush. And as you see, the sponge tips do work, but because they're small, if you're doing your entire lid, it's going to take you some time. So you do not have to use your finger if you don't want to. You do not have to wet your brush if you don't want to. It's all about how you want to apply your makeup. So this is done for this eye. All right, we're moving on here. We're going to move on to the other eye, to Rosewood Romantique. And there's like chunks in this. Someone had told me, I think I might have mentioned it earlier. This is going to go all over the lid, and this is one of her matte shades, and so I'm not at all concerned about this one. I commented on her video I liked her look, because I do like looks, even though if it's not my aesthetic, you know what I mean? Because if it's pretty, you know, it's pretty. Well, if I think it's pretty, I think it's pretty. And they were like, you would love this palette, you should get it. And I'm thinking, do they not know I prefer dark, grungy, smoky tones? Which is none of this palette at all. I mean, yes, this is pretty, and it's a dual chrome, yes. But it's not my vibe for like every day. And I honestly only do the lighter looks here on YouTube. Like if I'm going somewhere, I'm doing dark, grungy, or smoky, trust and believe. And so I kept looking at it though, and I'm just like, And then I tell myself, sometimes there is a time and a place for monochromatic looks, which are not my preference either, and for light ethereal looks, even though that's not my preference either, and for the sake of having an option to show you guys, like versus me just always doing smoky or always on grungy, just to show you some variety. And also if you're interested in a color story, because the bottom line is, it's not about a brand, it's about the color. If some of you are interested in certain color stories, just to see different options on my skin tone, because skin tone and undertone make a difference in how shades will show up on you. And so I do this just to have some variety here. And so I do like this palette. That chunk stuff though, I hate it. I hate it, and I have to be in the mood to even want to pick up. No, let me rephrase that. I don't need to be in a certain mood to pick up a Pat McGrath Mothership. I need to be in the mood to deal with her celestial shades. I'll say it that way, because I do my base face first, because I don't always know if I'm going to do an eye look. And so to not do any makeup because I don't know if I'm going to do an eye look doesn't make sense. So that's there, and we're going to go into Plum Cabaret. This is a matte shade as well. We're going to put that over here because I thought these two shades would go well together. And look at this, when I turn, this looks like that. I see what Pat did. Even though I'm still kind of like chuckling every time I see a new video with the Star Wars collection, because I'm just like, you girl, you just slapped a $50 sticker a $50 sticker on a palette and called it limited edition. Get out of here with that. So I'm and honestly, I do have Midnight Sun. I do like Midnight Sun. But if I had purchased the Star Wars Midnight Sun, I would have sent it back. And meanwhile, I would have purchased Midnight Sun, because by the time you see this, the sale might be over. But she had been having, that didn't make sense. She had a 40% off end of year sale. It excluded bundles, and it excluded the Star Wars collection. And so you can still get, well, at the time I'm filming this, Midnight Sun for $76 and some change. So I would have sent back that $50 sticker palette, $129 for Midnight Sun, and just purchased Midnight Sun for 76 bucks. That's what I would have did. And it is a hassle returning stuff, but I would have returned it. Like, you're not going to get me for a $50 sticker. And people have been saying in comments, she should just sell stickers. Did I say that in my seduction video? Because honestly, I would buy if she sold the stickers. I would wait for a sale. But I would buy stickers that look like the packaging to put on each of my motherships so that I can tell them apart without opening it. I really would. And other people were saying that they would too. We're going to take that same shade and we're going to put this on our lower lash line. But anyway, let me stop talking about that because it's about to break the internet. You know, people just going off on, I thought it was a sticker and I'm sad that it really was. And other people were saying, I'm gonna stop talking about it because I talked about it enough. And if you're watching YouTube and looking up Star Wars collection, you're already seeing it. So, and I'm just babbling to try and be not boring, doing makeup in silence. And so this eye is kind of done. So, we're going to go ahead and put this under the other eye too. And I wasn't going to, I don't know what I was going to put under here. I'm going to take a little bit of primer. This is where the artistry wand would come in handy, but unfortunately, I had a bad reaction to the artistry wand. We're going to put Platinum Dusk, and that is where, oh, that was not a chunky monkey. It's a shimmer, but it's not a chunky monkey. And we're going to tap that. Okay. This is soft too, because I'm seeing the brush strokes in the shadow on its own and over the shadow. So that's, I'm not liking how this is looking right here. So this is the brush that had Rosewood Romantique, and we're just going to bring this in, just trying to get a blend that looks halfway decent. I like it a little better. I'm going to go back with that brush and I'm gonna put a little bit more here because I'm not liking the darkness right here, but I like how it looks layered over Rosewood. And so let me show you what we did. This is Rosewood Romantique that we put all over the lid, and this is Platinum Dusk that we put on top of it. This shade here, Chunky Monkey VR Sextasy. Did I say that right? Yeah, that's the lid over here, and Plum Cabaret is the outer corner and lower lash line. So that's what we did. And that's it. I want to do something for inner corner though. So we're gonna, it's another Chunky Monkey. The only shade we did not use yet is this shade right here. So if I use this one, I guess I used all the shades and I won't have to do look number 5. But I do want to do look number 5 because that one is using 5 shades. This one is chunky too, so I am nervous about putting this here. And so I'm doing the tear duct area, staying away from inside. That does not look right. That color does not look right there. But we're going to put it on the other side because we did this side. Even though it's 2 different looks, and so it doesn't have to be the same shade, I am going to go over it with something else. I have a bump right here. Where's my bump? Yeah, there's a bump right here. And so this spot, when I do an inner corner highlight or tear duct area shadow, that area always looks super bright, like right here. Whereas this one, it will look more smooth, where it's just like a little ball right there. So I'm going to take a clean brush. I'm going to take this brush and we're going to go into Bronze Devotion, this shade, because I do think that will tone down the work we just did on our inner corner, and I'm not tapping off. So we're just going to put this here. And this is not a Chunky Monkey. This is just a metallic. Her metallics I really like. Her mattes I really like. It's just the Chunky Monkeys. And all of her celestial shades are not super chunky, but then some of them are. And I'm like, why? So I think this is working to tone this down. We're going to use for the first time. I'm kind of nervous about it. I really am. This is a NYX angled eyeliner brush. My eyelids are itching. They didn't itch before when I used this palette. And some of these shades we use today I have used before. Unless my lids are still just sensitive from a previous look. So I'm hoping that this will be a good liner brush, because I do like angled brushes. And the 2 Inglot ones I have, one is frayed really bad. And so I know I need to just throw it away. And I've been hesitating on it because I still do use it, but it's just hard to get a thin line because it frays. And this one is a thick liner brush too, so I was concerned with, can I get a thin line with this one? Why, troll, do you like angled eyeliner brushes? Because I can get the inner corner here without my arm or the brush interfering with my view of what I'm doing. And so these, and you can also just go straight across this way and not even use like the side of the brush. And so I really like it for that too. Yeah, I really like angled eyeliner brushes. Not angled where the bristles are angled, but the brush itself is angled. I'm wondering if I want to do a wing or if we just want to be done. Kind of looks like I'm going to do a wing, don't it? Yep, because we're testing out this brush. I have not heard the dog next door howling today, and so I think the owners are home. I have not heard that dog at all today, and so that's really good. And so I hope they're, the thing is though, is that when they're away and the dog is howling and crying, they don't know, you know what I'm saying? And part of me wanted to go knock on their door and be like, hey, you got a new puppy, didn't you? Yeah, it howls off and on from like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning until, you know, around 4 o'clock in the evening, well, afternoon. And so I'm wondering if I should say something, because if they're not aware, they're not going to take steps to have something there, you know, toys or whatever, to occupy the dog or keep the dog busy, which is occupying the dog. Pick this up at random. We're gonna do it. This is gonna be way too bright for this look. We're not gonna do it. So this one at random. You know what? We're gonna do this one because then we're gonna top it with the blue one, and it makes like a weird kind of color, but I think it turns into a pretty color. We're gonna top the yellow. And in true troll fashion, we're gonna double down. We're gonna take the red and we're gonna top all of that. I have a swatch video where I swatched these individually and I layered them. And I remembered it turning this color. And this is the color I was going for because it looks like this color. You see what I'm saying? Well, you'll see when I'm done, if you don't see it already. Now this, I think, goes with this eye. This one, I don't know, but we're gonna pretend it does because that's what we do here. We just do things and we just do more things. I do like the lip. I do think it goes really well with this look. This one, but anyway, that's what we do here. So let me know what you think. This is my third and fourth looks with this palette, and I do think I'm gonna come back and do one more because I want to experiment with topping another shade with another shade in here, and so I am going to do that. Don't know when. You'll see this video when all is said and done. Hey YouTube, this will be look number 5, chapstick. This is the candy cane scented and flavored one. Oh my gosh, and I am so spoiled now because whenever I randomly pick up just the classic one, I'm like, ugh. And those were my go-tos, the classic, the medicated one, and the one with SPF in it. We're going to prime our lids with the Fenty eyeshadow primer, then we're going to come back and jump into the shadows. But let me show you what we're going to do today. We're going to take Extreme Nocturne all over the lid. We're going to top it with Astral Lilac Aura on the innermost and outermost corners, Rosewood Romantique, and on the inside of the inner and outer corners, we're going to use Plum Cabaret. And for our tear duct area, yes, we're doing tear duct area again, if I don't forget, and this is Skin Show Glow. So that's what we're doing, and yes, this is Mothership number 10. So we're going to prime the eyes, and we will be right back, and we're going to jump right in. Extreme Nocturne all over the lid, leaving the inner and outer corners blank, I think. And we're taking the tip of the brush and we're getting our blend going. This is still Extreme Nocturne. And so you see how when you blend it, it does turn into a lighter shade, which is nice. And so you have the darkness here, Then you have the lightness up here for your blend. Here comes the tricky part, using Astral Lilac Aura. I'm going to try it with the brush first, but if this doesn't stick, it's going to be all over my face. So let's just start here. I'm going to use a sponge tip applicator. So we're going to put that brush down. I do have a sponge tip applicator here, and we're going to swipe in. This is not as soft as VR Ecstasy, which is great. So it's not as chunky. But look, oh, wow, look at that. That's nice. I'm gonna finish this in the other eye and come back and we will continue moving on. Even though I layered this over Extreme Nocturne, you could also layer it over like a MAC paint pot or Natasha Denona work set, or even the MAC fluid lines. And the reason I'm doing this look is because I wanted to get more variety out of this palette than what it seemed like I had been getting, and I wanted to see if I can get it deeper but still have that shine. And I think this is it. Rosewood Romantique. We're going to take this on the outermost and innermost corners, and I am pressing lightly because I don't want to disturb that celestial shade. Even though it's not a chunky monkey, I don't want to risk it too much. And so we're just going to turn this over and use the tip of the brush, and we're going to sweep that right here just a little bit, and the same over here. Not bridging, but just to have something there. I'm liking that. Do I want to bridge it? I think I do. And then I'll be like, I don't like it. If I go lightly, okay, this I like. All right. But I'm thinking it's too much space up here though. So I need something there. Why am I whining? Also with this angle brush, pointy side down, I can get right into this tear duct area right here. I'm taking this up a little bit higher because there's just too much space here. Like even this little bit going up a little bit higher, still using the tip of this brush. You see what a difference that makes? And because it's mixing with that center shade, it appears to have some shimmer to it, even though this is a matte shade. So you see the difference between this space and how this is? So I'm gonna do the same thing over here, just lightly going back and forth, very gently. I did not add any additional shadow on the brush. We're going to take a clean one and go into Plum Cabaret, and we're going to put that like kind of on the line where Rosewood Romantique and the center shade meet. And we're going to do that for the outer corner. So we're just tapping. We're not even going to blend because I don't want to disturb the sparkles. And so we're going to do the same thing here. And this brush is picking up the sparkles from the center shade. So we're just tapping. This is Skin Tints Glow. I think I called it something else earlier. I'm sure I did. And we're just going to put this right here in our tear duct area. Ooh, this is bright. I forgot how bright this was. For our lower lash line, we're going to take Extreme Nocturne, and we're just going to press it along our lash line. We only took that halfway. We are going to wipe that brush off. And we're actually going to go into Platinum Dusk. I don't know why. I think because it's not a chunky monkey. And we're going to put that here. I had taken out a gray eyeliner to use because I was thinking this celestial shade was going to come out lighter than it was. And so we're not going to use this. We're just going to use a black one. Max Paint Pot in Black Mirror. And we're going to put that on our upper and lower lash lines. I'm going to take a lipstick applicator because my eye is tearing. Just to get that moisture out. Well, but it'll be more because it'll keep tearing. We're going to take another lipstick applicator, sorry for smacking, wiping off chapstick. This is the Fenty Stunner in Underdog. That looks nice. And you know I want to top it with something. I'm thinking of topping it with Earth Angel because this will give it some shine, but I think it will give it too much of a shine. So I'm not quite sure. We can do this one. How about we just leave it like it is? Why I always got to be topping something? So this is the finished look. This is what we have. This is our look number 5. Thank you all for being here. Let me know what you think of the looks I've done with Moonlit Seduction, because honestly, I wasn't really feeling it because I like dark, grungy, smoky, and then the last 2 looks, 3 and 4, to me, as I was doing the looks, they did look similar, but when I played it back and I looked at the pictures, they were different, and I think different enough where if you wore one look one day and another look the next day, it would look like different looks. So I was just curious, and so that's why I wanted to layer over this shade with this one just to see what it would do and not just always have really light ethereal looks, because that's not my jam. They're pretty, yes, but it's not my jam. And so I am liking the palette. This one is chunky AF. This one is chunky. This one wasn't so bad, and this one wasn't so bad either. And so, yeah, it's a keeper. I will say that. This is a keeper, because at first I was like, it might be a Macari, I don't know. But this is a keeper, and I am really digging it. If you have this palette, let me know what you think about it. If you're considering getting it, wait for a sale, end of year sale. She did 40% off. I'm not sure when you'll see this. But if you can get it like 35% off, 40% off, and you're thinking of getting it, wait till one of those sales come along. Pat always has sales. Do not buy her palettes for a price. Don't do it unless it's just calling your name and screaming your name. And so thank you for being here. And if you're liking these videos, thumbs up the video. If you're not subscribed and you've watched a few of my videos, go ahead and subscribe, and also click the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And there is a lot of information down in the description box, so please read that. And yeah, thank you for being here, and you'll see me in the next video.